Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vandachari Yamunatira Vandachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Shri Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So we'll start from text 96 of this. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees. So today is the auspicious appearance day of Advaita Acharya. He's one of the esteemed members of our Pancha Tattva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in 5 features. So we wanted to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita especially about his glories, about his tattva. Of course, Lord Advaita Acharya appeared 52 years before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 52 years is 2 generations, right? Grandfather. I'm about 52 years older than my grandson. So that's 2 generations. So he's much older than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His mother's name was Nabi and his father's name was Kuvera Pandit. And of course, his birth was very auspicious, his appearance was very auspicious, and he was given the name Mangala at birth and later also called Kamalaksha. He had 6 sons and 2 wives, Sri Devi and Sita Devi. So Advaita Acharya had many very important contributions and pastimes with the Lord. I wanted to read this first part from chapter 3 of the Adi Leela, where he is petitioning the Lord to appear. And this chapter is describing Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, and also here they talk about how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and you'll see Advaita Acharya's important role in getting the Lord to appear. I'll just read from text 96. There are a number of texts here. I wanted to cover 3 parts of Chaitanya Charitamrita, from chapter 3, chapter 6, and then also from Antya Leela. If we have the time, of course, we'll try and see how far we can go. So I'll just read, and we'll do the English translations only, and we can follow on the TV. Advaita Acharya, having appeared, he found the whole world devoid of devotional service to Sri Krishna, because people were engrossed in material affairs. Everyone was engaged in material enjoyment, whether sinfully or virtuously. No one was interested in transcendental service of the Lord, which can give total relief from the repetition of birth and death. Seeing the activities of the world, the Acharya felt compassion and began to ponder how he could act for the people's benefit. Just a note that the condition of the world then, which Advaita Acharya was lamenting, was much better than the condition of the world we have now. Right? So it's 500 years ago in Navadvip, but still he's lamenting so much. Advaita Acharya thought, if Sri Krishna were to appear as an incarnation, he himself could preach devotion by his personal example. In this age of Kali, there is no religion other than the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. But how in this age will the Lord appear as an incarnation? I shall worship Krishna in a purified state of mind. I shall constantly petition him in humbleness. My name Advaita will be fitting if I am able to induce Krishna to inaugurate the movement of the chanting of the holy name. While he was thinking about how to propitiate Krishna by worship, the following verse came to his mind. Sri Krishna, who is very affectionate toward his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers him merely a tulsi leaf and a palmful of water. Advaita Acharya considered the meaning of the verse in this way. Not finding any way to repay the debt he owes to one who offers him a tulsi leaf and water, Lord Krishna thinks, there is no wealth in my possession that is equal to a tulsi leaf and water. Thus the Lord liquidates the debt by offering himself to the devotee. Considering in this way, the Acharya began worshipping the Lord. Thinking in this way, thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna, he constantly offered tulsi buds in water from the Ganges. He appealed to Krishna with loud calls and thus made it possible for Krishna to appear. Therefore, the principal reason for Sri Chaitanya's descent in this appeal is this appeal by Advaita Acharya. The Lord, the protector of religion, appears by the desire of his devotees. So we hear that Advaita Acharya is the one who petitioned the Lord to come, and that's why the Lord appeared. His petition was not what we would typically do. Typically, if we want to pray to the Lord, we go quietly and pray, in front of the Lord very respectfully. But Advaita Acharya was very loud. He roared. Out of his compassion, he angrily petitioned the Lord. It's described. He angrily petitioned the Lord loudly. His roars were so loud it pierced the coverings of the universe and reached Goloka Vrindavan. So that was a very intense prayer that he did, where he petitioned the Lord to come. And of course, as we know, the Lord appeared. Can we go to chapter 6 of Adi Leela? So in this chapter 6, we see how in chapter 3, Advaita Acharya got the Lord to appear by his petitions. And then in chapter 6, the glories of Advaita Acharya are described in detail. We'll try to just go through some of this. The tattva is explained in 2 verses as it was described here. And we'll just try to see what Krishna's Kaviraj Swami says. Yes, this verse. So we'll read from chapter 6. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya, whose activities are all wonderful. By his mercy, even a foolish person can describe his characteristics. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Acharya. All glories to all the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In 5 verses, I have described the principle of Lord Nityananda. Then in the following 2 verses, I describe the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. So there's the 2 verses, 4 and 5. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. So this is the essence of Advaita Acharya's position and purpose in these 2 verses. And now Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami will describe further in more detail. Sri Advaita Acharya is indeed directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. His glory is beyond the conception of ordinary living beings. Mahavishnu performs all the functions for the creation of the universes. Sri Advaita Acharya is his direct incarnation. That Purusha creates and maintains with his external energy. He creates innumerable universes in his pastimes. By his will, he manifests himself in unlimited forms, in which he enters each and every universe. Sri Advaita Acharya is a plenary part of that Purusha, and so is not different from him. Indeed, Sri Advaita Acharya is not separate, but is another form of that Purusha. He, Advaita Acharya, helps in the pastimes of the Purusha, with whose material energy and by whose will he creates innumerable universes. Being a reservoir of all auspicious attributes, Sri Advaita Acharya is all auspicious for the world. His characteristics, activities, and name are always auspicious. Mahavishnu creates the entire material world with millions of his parts, energies, and incarnations. Just as the external energy consists of 2 parts, the efficient cause, nimitta, and the material cause, upadan, Maya being the efficient cause and Pradhan the material cause, so Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, assumes 2 forms to create the material world with the efficient and material causes. Lord Vishnu himself is the efficient nimitta cause of the material world, and Narayan in the form of Advaita is the material cause, Upadan. So this is a little lofty philosophy, these two types of causes. I heard a wonderful example, I think this was given by one of the previous Acharyas, about the efficient cause and the material cause in how we can understand it. So if you take the example of a clay pot being made, you have the potter's wheel, you have the clay, and you have the potter. So if you want to consider the efficient cause, it would be the wheel, and the material cause is the clay. So both are the cause of the clay pot with the potter, but the efficient cause would be the wheel, and the material cause is the clay. So now, in reference to Advaita Acharya here, we're learning from the previous text that Advaita Acharya is the material cause, the equivalent of the clay. Text 17. Lord Vishnu, in his efficient aspect, glances over the material energy, and Sri Advaita, as the material cause, creates the material world. So although he's the material cause, we mustn't mistaken him to be material. We're hearing already that he's the Supreme Lord. So Advaita Acharya is totally spiritual. In the pastime of the creation, he is the material cause when the material and efficient causes are described. Although the Sankhya philosophy accepts that the material ingredients are the causes, the creation of the world never arises from dead matter. The Lord infuses the material ingredients with his own creative potency. Then by the power of the Lord, creation takes place. In the form of Advaita, he infuses the material ingredients with creative energy. Therefore, Advaita is the original cause of creation. So this is a spiritual potency which infuses the material energy with the creative potency. That's the spiritual energy. As we know, matter cannot create. Matter is dead. So therefore, Advaita Acharya is the creative potency, which is the spiritual energy which enables matter to create, matter to become created. In the form of Advaita, he infuses the material ingredients with creative energy. Therefore, Advaita is the original cause of creation. Sri Advaita Acharya is the creator of millions and millions of universes, and by his expansion as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he maintains each and every universe. Sri Advaita is the principal limb, Anga, of Narayan. Srimad Bhagavatam speaks of limb, Anga, as a plenary portion, Angsa of the Lord. O Lord of Lords, you are the seer of all creation. You are indeed everyone's dearest life. You are not therefore my father. Are you not therefore my father Narayan? Narayan refers to one whose abode is in the water born from Nara, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And that Narayan is your plenary portion. All your plenary portions are transcendental. They are absolute and are not creations of Maya. Keep in mind this word Nara. We'll hear Lord Chaitanya address Advaita Acharya as Nara later, if we get to that part. So he's referring to this Narayan. This verse describes that the limbs and plenary portions of the Lord are all spiritual. They have no relationship with the material energy. Why has Sri Advaita been called a limb and not a part? The reason is that limb implies greater intimacy. Sri Advaita, who is a reservoir of virtues, is the main limb of Mahavishnu. His full name is Advaita, for he is identical in all respects with that Lord. As he had formerly created all the universes, now he descended to introduce the path of bhakti. So there's another key point. He is the Lord who descended to introduce the path of bhakti. As it said in his name, Advaita means he's the Supreme Lord, and Acharya because he taught the path of bhakti. So that's Advaita Acharya's specific purpose, to introduce the path of bhakti. And therefore, that is his name. He delivered all living beings by offering the gift of Krishna Bhakti. He explained the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in the light of devotional service. Since he has no other occupation than to teach devotional service, his name is Advaita Acharya. He is the spiritual master of all devotees and is the most revered personality in the world. By a combination of these two names, his name is Advaita Acharya. Since he is a limb or part of the lotus-eyed Supreme Lord, he also bears the name Kamalaksha, lotus-eyed. His associates have the same bodily features of the Lord. They all have 4 arms and are dressed in yellow garments. Sri Advaita Acharya is the principal limb of the Supreme Lord. His truths, names and attributes are all wonderful. He worshipped Krishna with tulsi leaves and water of the Ganges and called for him in a loud voice. Thus Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on earth, accompanied by his personal associates. It is through him, Advaita Acharya, that Lord Chaitanya spread the Sankirtan movement, and through him that he delivered the world. The glory and attributes of Advaita Acharya are unlimited. How can the insignificant living entities fathom them? Sri Advaita Acharya is the principal limb of Lord Chaitanya. Another limb of the Lord is Nityananda Prabhu. The devotees headed by Srivas are his smaller limbs. They are like hands, face and eyes, and his disc and other weapons. So we see that Lord Advaita Acharya is the principal limb. Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai. He's a principal limb, and there are other limbs like Lord Nityananda, and there are other smaller limbs also. So I'm just going to carry on from text 45. He says, Nityananda, this is Advaita Acharya. Nityananda and I are servants of Lord Chaitanya. Nowhere else is there such joy as that which I tasted in this emotion of servitude. Now this is Advaita Acharya as the Supreme Lord saying that he tastes such joy in the service of the Lord. The most beloved goddess of fortune resides on the chest of Sri Krishna, yet she too, earnestly praying, begs for the joy of service at his feet. All the associates of Lord Krishna, such as Brahma, Shiva, Narad, Sukha and Sanatan Kumar, are very pleased in the sentiments of servitude. So we see here that Advaita Acharya is very much appreciating being a servant of the Lord and tasting this mellow of serving the Lord. We're hearing that he is Lord Narayan himself, but we see that he's relishing this. Now, as we mentioned, Advaita Acharya is much older than Lord Chaitanya. He is 2 generations ahead. Not only is he very much older, he's also a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is the grand spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. He's a spiritual master of Ishvara Puri, who is the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. So basically, Advaita Acharya is the god brother of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. So being so much older and the god brother of his spiritual master, Advaita Acharya was always treated with the greatest respect. And he was offered obeisances by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was glorified by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was not happy being in that situation. He didn't like it because he wanted to relish servitude of the Lord, as he's saying here. He wanted to relish being the Lord's servant. So then he came up with a plan, as described in Chaitanya Bhagavat, that Advaita Acharya, being desirous of wanting Lord Chaitanya to treat him as his Lord and Master, to treat Advaita Acharya as his servant, he coined up this plan. Remember, Lord Chaitanya, he never openly exposed himself as a Supreme Lord. Whenever someone told him he's a Lord, he blocked his ears and he tried to hide his identity. But on many occasions, when these pastimes happen, you'll see how the Lord directly reveals he's the Supreme Lord. So Advaita Acharya, wanting to be accepted as a servant of the Lord, what he did was he started preaching impersonal philosophy, Mayavad philosophy. Now we know that Advaita Acharya called the Lord so that he could teach devotional service. And then Lord Chaitanya suddenly hears that Advaita Acharya is now teaching Mayavad philosophy. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, was very displeased. Actually, he was angry.
He was swimming in the Ganga with Lord Nityananda, and when he heard about this, he became furious. And he said, I'm going to go. I'm going to show what happens to impersonalists, how they are treated. And he went very angry to Advaita Acharya. And actually he mentioned to Lord Nityananda there, I was peacefully lying on the ocean of milk, and Nara called me. So that's where he reveals he's the Lord, right? Nara called him. But he disturbed me with these loud calls. So Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda went to Shantipur where Advaita Acharya was, and very angrily, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they entered the home of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya offered obeisances as usual. His wife Sita Devi offered obeisances within her heart. Haridas Thakur was there, offered obeisances. Advaita Acharya's son, his servants, all received the Lord reverently, but they could see the Lord's anger, and they kind of knew what was going to come. So Lord Chaitanya asked him, so which is better? The impersonal way, the Mayavad way, or devotional service? And Advaita Acharya said, impersonal philosophy is best. Only through Mayavad philosophy can you get devotional service. How will you get devotional service? And Lord Chaitanya was furious. He grabbed Advaita Acharya from his seat and then beat him with his fist. It's described. He beat him. Now this is his spiritual master's god brother who he revered all the time. Beat him and then chastised him. How can you do this? And then he said, you called me here to preach devotional service, and now you are cheating me by presenting Advaita philosophy. Why are you doing this? Why are you cheating me? I didn't cheat you. I came here and I did what you called me for. I'm presenting devotional service. Why you did this? And he beat him. And then, of course, Haridas Thakur was he was in fear, and he was just meditating on Krishna. And Lord Nityananda was smiling. Advaita Acharya's wife was in anxiety. She said, he's a poor old Brahmana. What are you teaching by beating him up? But Lord Chaitanya was furious. He didn't hear anything. He was just chastising Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya was just in ecstasy. He said, at last, you've now accepted me as your servant. You chastised me, you corrected me. That means I'm your servant. And you gave me such a small punishment. You're so kind to me. And now at last you accepted me as your servant. And Advaita Acharya was just in ecstasy that, yeah, now you're my Lord and you're my master. And he put the Lord's feet on his head, and Lord Chaitanya had to allow him. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, he was so pleased with Advaita Acharya, he said, if anyone worships me and pleases me, but if they don't honor you and disregard you, I will reject them. That's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. So therefore we cannot properly observe the appearance day of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya without getting the mercy of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya said the same thing. My Lord, if someone pretends or wants to honor me and worship me, and they don't honor you, I will reject them. I will remove their honor and their devotion to me. So this was that pastime where Advaita Acharya got to show that Lord Chaitanya is his master and he is his servant. And that's how Advaita Acharya got to relish being the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, you see, they had a very intimate relationship, and it had all these dynamics, and many of the things we can't understand clearly. Of course, these are for very exalted souls. Fortunately, by the grace of the Acharyas, we get these commentaries and we can get some small understanding of what's going on in these relationships. Can we go to Antya Leela chapter 19, text 15. Advaita Acharya was also we know how he called the Lord. More confidentially, we know Lord Chaitanya, he spent first 24 years, Antya Leela chapter 19, from text 15, we'll start. He spent the first 24 years in Navadvip, then he took sannyas, and then he traveled for 12 years. And then for the last 12 years, he was in Jagannath Puri, simply absorbed in relishing the love of Sri Radha. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know, came for two purposes. One was the external reason of preaching Sankirtan, and the internal reason of relishing the love that Sri Radha has for him and understanding how that love, the glory of that love, etc. So that's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to do. So in this chapter, this is chapter 19 of the Antya Leela. It's the second last chapter. The last chapter is called the Shikshastakam. And in that chapter, Lord Chaitanya is relishing the Shikshastakam. As Krishna's Kaviraj gives Shikshastakam in the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's quite astounding that that's what Lord Chaitanya was relishing in Gambhira in the final years of his pastimes on the planet. So the switch over from doing Sankirtan to relishing the internal mood of the Lord is described here, a little cryptically, but again by the grace of the Acharyas we get some clues as to what's going on. So in this chapter, Jagadananda Pandit Prabhu, an associate of Lord Chaitanya, he describes, Jagadananda Pandit thus went to Nadia, where he met Sachi Mata. He conveyed to her all Lord's salutations. Now we'll remember that when Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, Sachi Mata requested him to take residence in Jagannath Puri because it was closer to Navadvip, and then it's like two rooms in the same house, she described. Therefore she could hear news of him, etc. So now this is one instance where Jagannatha Pandit went and gave her news of the Lord. Text 16. He then met all the other devotees headed by Advaita Acharya and gave them the prasadam of Jagannath. After staying for 1 month, he took permission from Mother Sachi to leave. When he went to Advaita Acharya and also asked his permission to return, Advaita Prabhu gave him a message to deliver to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Acharya had written a sonnet in equivocal language with an import that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand, but others could not. In his sonnet, Advaita Prabhu first offered his obeisances hundreds and thousands of times unto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He then submitted the following statement at his lotus feet. This is the start of the cryptic statement. Please inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. Inform him also that in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand. Cool, right? Text 21. Further, tell him that those now mad in ecstatic love are no longer interested in the material world. Also tell Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one who has also become a madman in ecstatic love, Advaita Prabhu, has spoken these words. So he's saying, it's nice to just see how Advaita Acharya put this. Please inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. Inform him in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand. And this message is from another madman, Advaita Prabhu. Text 22. When he heard Advaita Acharya's statement, Jagadananda Pandit began to laugh. And when he returned to Jagannath Puri, Nilachal, he informed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of everything. After hearing the equivocal sonnet by Advaita Acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quietly smiled. That is his order, he said, then fell silent. Text 24. Although he knew the secret, Sarup Damodar Goswami inquired from the Lord, what is the meaning of the sonnet? I could not understand it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Advaita Acharya is a great worshipper of the Lord and is very expert in the regulative principles enjoined in the Vedic literatures. Advaita Acharya invites the Lord to come and be worshipped, and to perform the worship he keeps the deity for some time. After the worship is completed, he sends the deity somewhere else. I do not know the meaning of the sonnet, nor do I know what is in Advaita Prabhu's mind. Advaita Acharya is a great mystic. No one can understand him. He is expert in writing sonnets that even I myself cannot understand. Hearing all this, all the devotees were astonished, especially Sarup Damodar, who became somewhat morose. The Acharyas have described and explained a bit about the sonnet by Advaita Acharya, that he's saying that there's no more demand of rice in the marketplace, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving Sankirtan. The holy name, Harinam Sankirtan, is what he was distributing. And everyone became mad in Sankirtan, chanting the holy name. Lord Chaitanya, Advaita Acharya, the whole of Navadvip was in ecstasy. So Advaita Acharya is saying, now everyone has become mad. That means everyone has taken to this chanting. Nobody has any more material desires. So there's no more demand for rice in the marketplace. There's no more demand for rice. No one has any more material desires. So your purpose has been fulfilled. Your purpose of coming to give Sankirtan has been fulfilled. So now you can enter the next stage of your pastime. That's what Advaita Acharya is telling him. Now you can go to the next stage. Your Sankirtan pastimes are complete. Now you can do the next stage of your pastimes. And that's what Lord Chaitanya then proceeds to do. That's why he's saying after the worship is complete, he sends the deity somewhere else. So Advaita Acharya called him to come and give bhakti, devotional service. And now after your mission is fulfilled, I want you to relish the internal reason why you have arrived. So he's basically reminding Lord Chaitanya of the internal reason he appeared also. And he wants Lord Chaitanya to now focus on that. So that's what this sonnet is meaning, according to the commentaries from our Acharyas. Text 30. From that day on, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's emotional state changed markedly. His feelings of separation from Krishna doubled in intensity. As his feelings of separation and ecstasy of Srimati Radharani increased at every moment, the Lord's activities both day and night were now wild, insane performances. Suddenly there woke within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the scene of Lord Krishna's departure to Mathura, and he began exhibiting symptoms of ecstatic madness known as Udgurna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a madman, holding Ramananda Rai by the neck, and he questioned Sarup Damodar, thinking him to be his gopi friend. So we see the mood of Lord Chaitanya changed totally just from the sonnet. Just from the sonnet. And then Lord Chaitanya just mainly stayed in the Gambhir day and night. He was not preaching, he was not teaching, he was just relishing this mood, the mood of the gopis, the mood of Srimati Radharani in her love for Krishna. And that's where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu focused all his time, all his energy. But you see how Advaita Acharya is directing him. That is why I went to this part. Advaita Acharya called him to the material world. Advaita Acharya had many wonderful pastimes with him. And then Advaita Acharya then told him, right, your Sankirtan pastimes are over. Now you can relish the internal mood of the Lord with his most intimate devotees. And that's what Lord Chaitanya did. And Lord Chaitanya just acted according to his direction. Thank you very much. So we will stop there. Is there any questions or comments or thoughts to share? Now you remind me. Yeah. You'd like to share something, Jai Prabhu?
Thank you, Ramvijay Prabhu. Very, very nice Leela of Advaita. We see, especially in this Kali Yuga, there's like the worship of the Panchatattva, Lord Chaitanya's and his associates. They're exclusive only to Gaudiya, Vaishnava, and the. But other than that, people don't know much about, even in India. And, although they appeared very recently, like 500 years ago. But Lord Chaitanya doesn't appear in every Kali Yuga also. I don't know about Advaita Acharya, he may be coming in another incarnation. But he says Lord Chaitanya only appears when Krishna appears in the Dwarpa Yuga, that Krishna appears. Lord, and that's one day of Brahma. Millions of years. Billions of years actually.
Sorry,
yeah, so we're very fortunate in this age to experience that in the same Yuga that Lord Chaitanya appeared, and we don't know our good fortune till we come to grips. And we can thank Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually, who inspired. He says in the 1800s or sometime around then he sent a treatise to the university in America of teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And he had this desire that when will that day come when people of different nations will take up kartals and mridangas and chant the name of, when will that day come? And he was praying for that day. And then Srila Prabhupada, of course, fulfilled that desire by bringing Lord Chaitanya's teaching to the Western world. Otherwise we wouldn't know who's Lord Chaitanya. Like that, yeah. So, and the verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam predicts Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangam Pangasapasa Jagnai Sankitan Praya Yajanti Sumeda Saha. Says in this age of Kali, Sumeda, very intelligent persons will worship that personality who constantly chants the name of Krishna.
Yeah.
Therefore, that was Lord Chaitanya's, Advaita's concern that people are very much engrossed in demigod worship. Even up to today, you go to Mayapur, you see so many Durga temples every corner, isn't it? You notice that? Still there. People worship Durga for some material benefits like that. So that was his concern. How will we take people out of that materialistic lifestyle?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Jai Prabhu. Yeah, reminding us how fortunate we are to be born at this time. And even now, to be born literally at this time. We could have come, and we most probably did come a couple hundred years ago. And that was before Prabhupada came and gave us the opportunity to access Lord Chaitanya even. But now we're so fortunate that we actually happen to be here now, after Srila Prabhupada came. And also, as we can see, many of these things are cryptic. Even after Lord Chaitanya, if we had to just read these things, even if we knew the language, we won't even know. Without the help of the Acharyas, without Srila Prabhupada, without spiritual master, we can't access this, Because you see, it's not straightforward. When the dealings between the Lord and His devotees, we can't understand. Like, if someone had to hear about Advaita Acharya being beaten by Lord Chaitanya, it would be bewildering, right? Is this the Lord? Is this His devotee? We can't figure those things out. And but here, through the grace of Srila Prabhupada, the previous Acharyas, we can not only get access to it, we can relish this beyond our qualification or our right to even access it. So we've got access to so much, and that can give us impetus to share that with others too, because it is really amazing. These pastimes are just really amazing. What we've got. Of course, these are more confidential pastimes. We're not talking about this in the public generally, these kinds of things. But it's still accessible to us, still accessible to us. And it's very relishable. And Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, you see, we can relate to them so much more compared to Srimad Bhagavatam, for example. Just feasts and kirtan, some talking. We can relate to that. And we're very, very fortunate to be born at this time, to have come to Srila Prabhupada's come in contact with Srila Prabhupada's movement, to have been given Srila Prabhupada's books, instructions, his movement. So all that is really wonderful. Yeah, sometimes we forget it, because we have it all the time. We forget. We take it for granted in a sense. We forget how fortunate we are. So it's really good to be reminded. But just listening to these pastimes of the Lord, I think, who knows these things? Like, these are things that people don't know, and yet it's there in the books that we have every day, and we're reading it. So it's amazing that we have it. Thank you, Jai Prabhu. Isaiah Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So the violence and the madness, how do we apply that, or how do we deal with that in the present day? Do we just hear it? And secondly, what does rice in the marketplace mean? Is it literally no rice, or is there a metaphorical explanation? Hare Krishna.
I'll start with the second question first. So there's no more rice in the marketplace. So Advaita Acharya was explaining that Lord Chaitanya had given the holy name, had given Harinam Sankirtan. And the whole of Navadvip was now immersed in the ecstasy of love of God. So there were no more material desires, and there was no need to preach
Harinam Sankirtan anymore. So he's giving a message. It's a metaphor that you finish preach. Your purpose one of the purposes of Lord Chaitanya was to give the Yuga Dharma, Harinam Sankirtan. So that purpose has been fulfilled. No more rice in the marketplace. There's no need for you to carry on with this. There's no more rice in the market. The market can be closed. In the marketplace of the holy name, you can wrap up that market now because there's no more ingredients to sell because everything, the need is forgotten. Everyone's fulfilled the need. So now you can move on to the next phase, your internal reason. So that's why he used it. And I guess rice was the main ingredient in the market, I guess, in those days. So that's why. I don't know for sure that he used why rice instead of something else. But rice is, in Bengal, a main food item. So in the market, you'll go to get rice typically. But there was no more rice. There was no material desires, no more need for preaching Sankirtan. Just now time to absorb yourself in ecstasy, the internal purpose. And that was his message through that sonnet, as the Acharyas explain it. But you see how the associates of Lord Chaitanya, Jagadananda Pandit knew, Swarup Damodar Goswami knew what this means, but it's very cryptic. And Lord Chaitanya, of course, knew, and he got the message. And so is that okay, Prabhu? Is that on the rice? I just want to, okay. No, carry on, Prabhu. Jai Prabhu.
Yeah, these symptoms of madness and ecstatic ecstasy, of course we cannot take that cheaply. These were like highly elevated, evolved spiritually. And of course when Lord Chaitanya had left the planet, then there was so many deviations, at least there was 13 different upper sampradayas were imitating Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, like dressing like gopis and masquerading like elevated devotees. Sajias, taking this process very cheaply, imitating. So we cannot imitate these pastimes, in ecstatic symptoms, unless we in that platform of spontaneous attraction for the Lord, and that may take many
lifetimes,
long time, till we evolve spiritually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jai Prabhu.
Thanks.
Yeah, so that these are all these spiritual emotions of madness, etc., are for those on the pure devotee platform only. Those who have given up all material desires, they've developed a pure love for Krishna. And what Lord Chaitanya is displaying here is the love that Srimati Radharani, the mood was Srimati Radharani and Krishna, the most elevated. It's just for us to know that these symptoms would exist, but not for us to practice. For us, we practice sadhana bhakti, practice the rules and regulations to purify ourselves from material desires so that we can start experiencing spiritual emotions ultimately. So that's why we are just trying to curb our material desires and trying to practice Krishna consciousness so we purify ourselves of those desires, and then by the Lord's grace those spiritual benedictions can be awarded to us. When it comes to these spiritual benedictions, they are given to us by the Lord. It's not something that we say we will do. What we do is our sadhana, we chant our rounds, we follow the principles, we do service, we worship the deity, we serve the devotees, and by that we hope that the Lord will be pleased to us and then offer us certain benedictions. And then He'll give us some taste for the holy name, taste for so many things, and then we can experience various spiritual emotions also. But that's much more higher platform. So that's how we take these displays of spiritual ecstatic emotions. That is something we can aspire to and we can hope for in the future while we're practicing sadhana patiently. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.